Welcome to Oregon Voters Digest, the program that brings forward the social and political issues that are important to people living here in the Pacific Northwest. And now, your host, Bruce Broussard.
Welcome again to this segment of the Oregon Voters Digest. I'm Bruce Broussard, your host. By George, we're right in the midst, if you will, of getting right into the swamp and all the issues about who's going to be representing here within our area in the Pacific Northwest, especially in Oregon. Okay? Well, let me start off by saying John Sweeney's here with me. He's going to be here with me. We're going to be talking about the whole issue of the elections and why it's so important and who's possibly running in various areas and the things of that nature. And hopefully you will understand what that's all about, because it's going to be a very responsible time now. And very important, very important. I guess we all know we're pretty well stressed out, so it's going to be something else just going through it. But we're going to start off. But before we begin, let me share something with you along the line of how as far as give you some ideas of how you should vote. The bottom line is that it's not about personality. It's about issues. It's about issues and the solutions of issues. Yep. Don't forget the solutions, because right now we're all stuck with from a national perspective, because the president right now is very much involved in the whole election process. He understands the system. Yeah. But in all due respect, when you think about the Republicans and the Democrats at this point in time, the Republicans are actually talking to solutions. You say, well, wait a minute, what happened to the Democrats? Well, what happens is that President Trump sits there. He's president of the United States. He sits in that seat, if you will, and there's a definition for that seat in terms of what he can do and what he can't do. And so what happens a lot of times is that I'll give you a good specific issue so you'll know what the situation where I'm going in with this piece. All those individuals that were working at the airport, all those was it 18? What all those?
The TSA.
TSA. All of the TSA folks. There was this big issue about stopping the government aspect of it. They took that segment aspect of it, and all of a sudden, they basically wouldn't pay these folks.
Yeah.
And they just get on and on, back and forth, the politics of the Democrats and the Republicans. Okay, got me? And the president, they basically looked at it from the standpoint, rather than looking at Republicans across the board, they just looked at President Trump.
Yeah.
And on the Democratic side, it was an all across the board with Democrat individual. So here's the issue on the table, and these people they're not getting a check. They're not getting paid, if you will. So now all of a sudden they're not getting paid, and then all of a sudden that was a big issue, and it was promoted that way in the media big time. And people were basically looking at it from the personality standpoint. They made President Trump the personality person, got me? And then the Democrats basically just kind of using the personality piece aspect of it. But then at the end of the day, some of the things that I'm again sharing with the voters, but no one talked about, well, who was getting paid and who wasn't getting paid. The elected officials were getting paid.
Oh yeah,
they were getting paid, paid, and that's been a major issue. And that's why I want to make sure we understand what that's all about. That's been a major issue for years here within our system. It's really been an issue aspect of it, and no one's been able to stop it. You got me? And when you look at these individuals, well, why is it that, Bruce, what's the problem? Everybody can get paid, but it's the nature of what they're receiving and how they're getting paid. They're there to represent the people, the voters. They are employees. We talked about this before to a certain degree. They're employees, and so the whole idea is that they should but that's not the case. When they go down there, it's real estate and Wall Street.
Yeah.
Those two items, real estate and Wall Street.
Yeah.
And in fact, I've always made that point to the viewing audience. All you have to do is just Google their names. You Google all of those folks that are talking. You Google their name, whether it be a representative, whether it be in the Senate, whether it be in the House or whatever. Google their name, and you'll see what I'm talking about. All millionaires. Yeah. Especially the ones that are speaking.
Yeah.
Got me? And so that's not really why we're sending those people up there, to just focus and learn and know what to do on while they're there, to be basically get involved in Wall Street to get those dollars and the real estate market. And in most cases, they don't have the background, but because they're sitting in those seats with a vote, so to speak, naturally Wall Street will react to them because that's business.
Yeah.
Those are the business. And I'm not saying we're not being anti-business, but the fact of the matter, that's a business venture.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the real estate piece, you got realtors that are constantly out there knocking on doors, if you will. Hey, look here, blah blah blah. So they're stuck, i.e., trying to basically learn how to make deals, and naturally those lobbyists understand that.
Yeah.
So indirectly, Wall Street is a lobbyist.
Yeah.
And indirectly, the realtors are lobbyists. Well, people don't understand. They got normally they have lobbyists for each of the businesses out there, etc. And they're lobbyists for us. We got lobbyists down there, those elected officials. So you got to remember that the fact of the matter is these people are still getting paid. And then I'm thinking about, now look at the results of that whole issue with the government deal with those individuals, those agents that weren't getting paid. Now, almost at the end of the day, who gets up and pays them? The president.
We do.
Yeah, the president.
Yeah.
No, the president basically said they're going to get paid.
Yeah.
And he signed the order
Yeah.
to get paid. Now, and here's the Democrats, rather if they wanted to make points with the voters, had they jumped in and said, okay, what we're going to do, we're going to change some things.
Yeah.
We're going to pay them. But they didn't do that.
No.
They didn't do that.
No.
It was just the Republican Party and the president. Now, yeah, fractionally people say, well, gee whiz, well he's the Republican. No, in most cases he's defined as basically representing two different entities. And one entity represents him all the time, identifies with him. The other half, if you will, of Republicans. So the game is that so the D's are still looking for something to basically respond to the voting public, and they haven't done that. So I'm saying to you, the voters, we got to do something about that, especially this whole idea of getting responsible people that will talk to issues with solutions and go down there and work for us here in the Pacific Northwest, and like the other states are basically supposed to be doing the same thing. So I want to make it very, very clear that you've got to call these people now. And hopefully the media will understand this here in the Pacific Northwest, and others who are basically all these organizations and associates and all of the employers who are saying, okay, fine, what's happening with the money and all this other good stuff. You've got to ask these people who are running for office to give you a definition. That's why we want to make. I'm making that point because we want to interview these candidates, but we don't want to interview candidates talking about personalities.
Yeah.
We want to interview candidates that have something specifically on what they're going to do in their respective areas that they're running for. Yeah. That's the key.
Yeah.
With a solution, not just basically coming up here with a resume. No, what are you going to do? What are you going to Congress for to begin with?
Yeah.
Fair, John. You want any comments on that to start with before we start looking at some of these?
This is the thing that people kind of shock in, is the fact that we have a president that's getting solutions.
Yes.
Some results.
Yes.
And the fact is that they have that game, and a lot of times when it switches from Republican control to Democrat and vice versa, it's like they change the books. They have these spiels that they want, and the deal is if they have solutions, then they have to learn something new. And they don't want to do that because a lot of times you'll get a letter in the mail wanting money or something like that, and it's alert and it says Monday morning or Tuesday morning. They got a stack of those and it says time to do that. And so the deal is they know if you've been dealing with this guy for quite a while, whether you're a conservative or a liberal, and so they punch the buttons, and so they send that letter out there, and it doesn't have a date. It says Monday morning. That thing's been sitting there rotten in their computer, just waiting to be activated and sent out.
Right.
And now, a lot of people talk about emailing, and the thing is that on an issue, you could say, I am for number such and such, or I am against. That's just as effective as you do a 3-pager by email, but you send a letter. And I remember Rob Nosh is my representative in Salem, and he says, we don't get many letters because a letter is something somebody has to handle.
Right.
And it might even end up in a legislator's hand, but the thing is, the email is, we got 20,000 yeses and 15,000 no's, or vice versa, and that's how it registers. And the thing is that they got this spiel. Now you're talking about Wall Street and the realtors. Now Dr. Howard Cherry, he was on the ESD board at the same time I was, and they had a
That's
long
educational service district when you were serving.
Multnomah Education Service
Okay,
District.
good, right.
And he says, it's the realtors. He says, it's not the National Rifle Association or Right to Life. And he says, it's the realtors. He says, and this is before all the computer stuff. He says, they find something they don't want. By 11 o'clock, you can't move in there. And he says he went in there one time, wanted to get to his office, and there's this big state policeman says, you want to go to your office, Dr. Cherry? Yes, I would. Hold on to my belt. And he says this big state policeman plowed through him. And back in those days, you had to be at least 6 feet tall to get on state police.
Wow.
And he plowed for him. He says he was holding, and his hands were kind of slipping because he was an older guy, you know. And
he was an elected official at that time.
Yeah, but he was a state representative from North Portland somewhere.
Okay.
And anyway, he says that. He says, and then the other thing is, you got some benefit that's going to come to you or me. And so the deal is, and they don't want us to have it. So the deal is, somebody will bring up an abortion bill or a gun control bill, and everybody gets off track. And that thing that was just about come to us as a benefit to us as citizens slips away.
Wow.
Because they know that those two issues, they don't follow an exact slot one way or the other, because they cross back and forth. And you see some people that are supposed to be conservatives and they're pro-choice and anti-gun, and some people that are supposed to be liberals, why they are pro-gun and pro-choice. You know, so it's really a mix-up. So, and they know if it's getting too good, too close to giving us something that we really need and deserve, all somebody has to do somewhere is slip that thing out there. And then the other thing is that they talk about they're doing a bill for you and I.
Right.
But they don't tell you that in a committee they're torpedoing that bigger than hell. And so it's not going to come out, or it comes out that the only thing left in the bill is basically the title, because all the rest of the stuff is just garbage.
Well, you know, you make a good point, because just as we were talking, you got two deals there. You got the issue, and you got the solution.
Yeah.
The bill is the issue.
Yeah.
And then the whole idea is that the elected official, i.e., is supposed to talk to the solution.
Right.
Basically discuss the solution.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with it, but they're not doing that.
No.
Because so the issue just stays out there, and that becomes politics, and they do nothing about that part, and they never discuss the solution, because guess what? They don't have the background.
Well, the other thing is that they've got this bill that's good for us, and then they'll get out on the floor and it says, I've got to vote against this good thing because the deal is it's not enough for you. You know, the deal is it's only got 2 slices of bread instead of the whole loaf. Well, getting 2 slices of bread is better than
That's right.
And it'll just slip away from you time after time.
And people spend a lot of time.
Maybe what we need to do is just vote against all incumbents. Just, hey, you're not good?
Yep.
Let's get some new people in there.
Well, I think also, too, along that same line, our so-called election process, got my point, on the front end, that's really what, again, that's the solution. Because the bottom line is, the way media does it, they'll call you, you go in and interview. But then you look at the people who are interviewing you, no background.
Yeah.
They're not talking to what your platform is. What do you bring to the table? Because they can't have the discussion if they don't have the background. And you are the discussion, for the solution. So their thing was to basically reinforce, if you will, your platform in terms of this is the issue that seriously, this is the issue and the solution to the people that I'm representing. That's what they should be talking to you about, the media on the front end. Now, once that's discussed, that's what they should print.
Well, the other thing about the media, a lot of times they they get a feather up the kazoo, so to
Yeah,
speak,
yeah.
and so they've got these issues that they're pushing. And back when it used to be the education, why that's what they asked every candidate. You're running for dog catching, and they're asking you what your education platform is.
Right.
And
Okay.
then now the thing is on the homeless. Well, look what you've got. You got almost every level of government wanting to get into it. When actually in Multnomah County they had Resolution A back in 81 or 83, where they were going to do all the social programs, and the cities were going to concentrate on streets and sewers and water and parks and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And they expanded all the cities because there's very little unincorporated Multnomah County, and so that worked for a while. But you know, the good part about the Multnomah County thing was they had term limits. Well, then the county commissioners were running out of time, so they come sneaking into the city of Portland, and so the city of Portland gets back into the welfare thing, and then the Gresham's got to do it, and all the rest of them got to have a deal because they're doing things for the poor, when it actually the Multnomah County have pride themselves of being the government for the poor, which is a good idea, because say you're an average citizen and stuff like that, and your world collapses. You know, you get laid off, and there's a whole bunch of people laid off. There are no other jobs, and you're going to have unemployment for 6 months, which is not close to what you're making, and maybe you get a 3-month extension, but that's just about it. And so if it all went to the county, says, you know, you could show up to the county and they'd take a look at what your situation is, and then get you what you should be deserve according to the formula. But the thing is that the people who are out there on welfare and milking it, and they know where to go. You know, they go to the city and the county and the state and all this stuff, rather than have it concentrated at one spot. So the deal is that, say like in Multnomah County, and they've got 4 districts for the 4 commissioners, and you look at where they're living, it says, well, this is where you should go because you're in that district, and you'd have that commissioner would be looking out for the poor people in that district, and they would have that formula. And so when your world collapses, instead of going into panic and stuff like that, and they've actually had people commit suicide because their world just collapsed. You know, like in 1929, they had people jumping out of buildings, and so that is the problem with that, is that, and it gets back to the solutions. The fact that they talk about them, but the fact is that for some reason, when it gets close to getting that good solution for you and I, somehow it slips away.
Well, you know, I like those points. In fact, again, when we think about this piece, we're thinking about the media. I think that when they basically set up the interview, they should, first off, they should talk about what are their issues from their perspective, because they're out there every day educating the people about what the issues are.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the candidates are supposed to be responding to them if they want to run with solutions, not issues. Solutions. So when they are basically called in to talk to the fact that they're running for office, for this particular office, and these are the issues. Now the media is saying these are the issues, and what issues do you represent that you have as far as the solution is concerned? That's the way the interview should start. Now they're talking specifically about those issues for that respective area with the person. And that should be the interview.
But the interview should be on, okay, what is this job?
Right.
And the deal is that
how you going to?
But the press has got their issue big time. Say it was education or homeless, and so you're talking to something like the Soil and Water Conservation District. have two of them,
Right.
the east and the west of
Right,
Multnomah
right,
County,
right,
and it had nothing to do with the homeless. Or you go
Well,
to,
well, just like you were saying, but see, they have to be specific.
yeah, but they need to
specific.
talk to these people about the issues that
Specifically for that area.
what their ball game is.
For that area specifically.
Yeah.
And then by asking them those kinds of questions, and those are the only one. In fact, they should be sending when a person says they're running for that particular office for those representative people, they should be able to. They should even send them a copy.
Well, I run for the East Multnomah Soil and Water Conservation District a couple times, and I was interviewed, and they had your spiel. So I said, "Do you know what this thing does?" So then I was telling them what they did, and there's 5 of them that had a blank face. I mean, just like a blank sheet of paper. They didn't know. They had not examined the office they were going to ask about. So,
Well, look, the reason why we want to spend some time on the front end of the elections that we're getting ready to go into. Getting ready to go into the primary. A lot of folks have signed up to run for office. Okay, and so we're trying to sort of like make sure that these people are going to be dealing with solutions to the issues, and then so the so-called issues are those concerns that the voters have. That the voters have for their respective areas. And those candidates should be responding, not basically coming up with the issues again. They should be responding to what are the solutions. What are the solutions? And the media should be doing just that. And in fact, when the media calls these individuals, once they've gotten the names and whatever, they will make sure that they send them a specific something, whether it be an email or something, that says these are the issues. Now you're coming in to talk to the issues about solutions. We're going to interview you on solutions. That's the way we're going to do it. And in fact, that's the format that we're going to follow here. In fact, just to make sure that we're going to be right down on course and hopefully educate this media for a change. I'm in the process of running for president of Metro. President of Metro, which represent Multnomah County, Clackamas, and Washington County. I would include another one, Clark County, because in all due respect, it's like a big family. It's like the swamp aspect of it. And and there are many issues, and you think about it. And when you think about that, what are the things that we're getting hit on constantly? The whole issue with the homeless issue aspect of it. Well, the way the homeless issue works out right now, it is an issue. But the bottom line is that the ones on the outside, let's say the Portland area has gotten the recognition as the worst city in the world, if you will, in the country for that matter. So, but the bottom line is that since they got that, if these other counties have problems with the homeless, what they normally do, follow the old way of dealing with homeless, is give them a ticket and a couple of dollars, one way, and and then one way. In fact, and then the guy takes the dollar, he spends up the dollar, and comes to Portland. And then you can't do anything. Because in all due respect, we got an economy, we got a whole bunch of things around. So the name of the game so the name of the game is that we're gonna talk to that. That's a major issue. And I'm telling you point blank, this is a solution. We're gonna invite all of the candidates, and especially those representing the county, Clark County, Clackamas County, and Multnomah County. We're basically saying to these 3 counties, including Clark, but that's in the state of Washington. Yeah. We're basically saying, okay, fine, we got a solution to the problem. The solution will be is that when there's going to be laws, there are laws on the books right now. If they break these laws, the county, and basically the police picks them up, takes them to the county jail. They got them there in a contained unit aspect of it, in a controlled environment. In the controlled environment, and then what they will do is, okay, they'll keep them there, and it's like anything else with business, they'll keep them there, and then next thing you know, they will send the bill in terms of how much it costs to the respective county, and say, this is how much it's costing you right now, and the meter's running. The meter's running. This is how much it's going to cost you. Now, now as and we're taking them through the deal. and whatever. And if we run out of beds or whatever, we got to rent some beds. Boom. That's that big pot of money that goes out to that piece. But the fact of it is, they've broken the law. They've broken the law, and so the name of the game, to me that is a solution. Now, once they start getting basically having to pay those bills, then guess what? From the taxpayer the respective county that person was that bill was sent to is going to like that idea. The voters are going to like the idea because otherwise the taxpayers constantly having to pick up that bill. See, so that's just kind of that's kind of like the direction I think we're going to take. The biggest issue that's causing problems here in this state, because that's our living room. Portland is our living room to a certain degree. I'm just using that as an example, but I'm still saying to the same thing for the other counties. If all of a sudden they get picked up in Washington County and found out that the person comes from Portland, they send the bill to Portland. If they get caught up in Clackamas County, they send the bill to guess who? Right down the way. See, so now to me that is a solution. Now we can go back and forth and debate the issue. Well, why not this? Why not this? Why? Well, fine. You can debate it, but the solution is on the table. So at the end of the day, we're gonna have a solution to that quote problem of the homeless situation, which is and it talks about all kinds of goodies, sanctuary cities, everything's in that pot. It talks about the issues and whatever. So we're gonna do that. And we're going to do that here at the Oregon Voters Digest. And so we're going to be inviting, to start off with, since I'm running for Metro, I'm saying to all the folks, the candidates, there are 4 other individuals that are running for president of Metro, talking to issues, okay, but solutions, to come to the Oregon Voters Digest, and we want to interview you, but to understand when you come to interview, I don't want to hear about other issues you got. We're going to be talking about one issue, homeless issue. What is your solution to the homeless issue? Very, very important.
Yeah, one nasty fact is that we here in Oregon and specifically Willamette Valley has been used for experiments over time. Remember the odd even gas thing back in '73 when gas was short. You could only go in on your day, and they spotted several other places. And so if you wanted to go someplace and got a low tank and you had the wrong license number, you couldn't get gas that day. And in fact, you found a guy in Kansas City. He bought the license plates, put them on his car, and he went to go in to get gas one time. Says, no, well, he checked it. He had an odd on the back and an even on the front, or vice versa. So he says he had to take one of the plates off so he could get gas.
But like you said, it's a good idea. But again, we want to make sure we're very specific.
Yeah, but the deal is
the homeless thing is a serious situation throughout the country.
But they have been meeting homeless people all over the place and put them on the red eye and flew them here.
Oh yeah, well that's it.
They didn't put them on a Greyhound bus. They put them on an airplane. So they got them past TSA and put them on a plane, and they flew them here on a red eye.
Yeah, but my point is that, but like you said, you put them on the red eye aspect of it, and they go somewhere else, if you will, and then they come right back. You haven't stopped anything. Well, look, okay, that's going to be the start. That's we wanted to make sure we get this in. I want to make sure now we want to talk about some national standpoint. So Big Bob is here today. Bob is here. He's the national hero. He knows the whole. He knows the whole game.
Over?
Oh yeah, he knows. He knows the whole deal. He's a good, solid Democrat, and it seems as though that I haven't been able to find anyone that could really communicate with the Republican Party. Well, the Republican Party is President Trump. So we got President Trump on one end, and but I haven't been able to find any Democrats. So I got one. His name is Williams, and he's got credentials. He's been around politics for a long time, and so we're gonna take this other 30 minutes and spend some time with Bob for this 1 hour. We talked a little bit about those. Okay, come on, Bob. Come on, go around this way.
Oh yeah.
Come on, Bob. Yeah, you got. Okay, like I said, this is just a preliminary See, we're just getting started. Elections are coming up, and we're trying to figure out how do we guide the folks and let the voters understand they're employers. They're not employees. The folks who are running for office are employees, but in all due respect, we've been living long to the point where the folks who've been running for office has been acting like employers and employees and getting paid big money.
Well,
Bob,
well, Bruce,
let's talk.
a long time ago, the horse started pushing the cart instead of pulling it.
The horse started pushing the cart
Yeah.
instead of pulling it.
Which means that the politician's supposed to be pulling the cart.
Yes.
We're supposed to be the cart.
Ah, that's right.
And we're supposed to be telling them what we need.
Yes.
And they are supposed to be in their districts trying to see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not supposed to be, well, you're a Democrat, so you can't.
That's right.
I ain't
That's
worried
right.
about
That's
you,
right.
or
That's
you're a
right.
Republican.
That's
I'm
right.
not worried about you.
Right.
It's about the community.
Yes.
And I had a conference. I was on the golf course yesterday,
Yes, okay.
where you can do good business or you can do good conversation.
Right.
And the conversation that I had was, why is it that we are still color struck?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yep. Oh, race struck.
Well,
The race.
it don't matter. You can't tell what race a person is until they open their mouth.
Well, that's a good point.
But you can tell the color. The
Yes.
first thing that walks in that room is not the conversation. It's the color of your skin.
Well, yep.
And so, if you're dark skinned, until you open your mouth, they don't know anything. Whether you're from Guatemala,
Yep.
from France,
Mm-hmm.
or from America. And I'm just using those three.
Right.
But they don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
And so what happens is we're so busy looking at each other's color and trying to figure out how to get over until we forgot the one thing. Well, the one thing that I learned when I was in South Africa during the Mandela election, and he came before over 50,000 people at this soccer stadium, and he said, the one thing we need to remember, regardless of the color of our skin, we're all South Africans.
But they don't make that point.
And nowhere
Media.
in this political arena is they saying, no, regardless of the color of your skin,
Yeah.
you're all
Very
Americans. And so we need to get back to that. You think about it, how did we lose? We get so busy trying to put the other guy down, thinking it's going to pull you up. I've never seen anyone dig a ditch to get out of it.
Well, let's not forget about President Lincoln now. President Lincoln reacted to the color thing.
Yes,
He reacted to it.
right.
And basically said, okay, fine, these are the people that fought in the revolution. There was no such thing as color. Everybody was there that was fighting England.
Right.
Bang. And then soon as that happened, after that happened, then all of a sudden, everybody was fine. Then all of a sudden, somebody came up with this idea of color.
Yes.
Civil War.
Well, a lot of people who want to say the Civil War. I'm a history major,
Okay.
and one of the things that I learned by reading the book,
Yeah.
it said that the Civil War was about the one thing that America cherished the most: capitalism. It wasn't all about race, because there's white indentured servants during that time. It was about money. The North didn't feel that it was right for the South to have free labor. And so that was part of what happened, along with the fact that Lincoln didn't feel that it was right that you bastardize people based on the color of their skin.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The word color came, like you said, it sure was about money. But my point is that the excuse to counter that was the color. That's where it kind of like started, so to speak.
Sure.
So anybody with dark skin, it was the dark skin. And in all due respect, had it not been the dark skin, we've been living under the Confederacy today.
Well,
because they had all the color to begin with.
right. And you know, I look at the politics of today and the politics of yesterday,
Yep.
and I go, you know, what have we learned?
I heard that.
If I'm running around putting someone else down because of the color of their skin, how does that
Yeah.
improve where I am?
Yeah.
And I look at what we're going through right now, and I'm going, people voted last year based on profit.
Yep.
And they were told that these people are causing you not to profit.
Mm-hmm.
So we go get rid of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then you find out those people are needed, and because the jobs they were doing are not the jobs that the average American wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so the politics once again fell into finance. You take those people out of the areas and where they were working, and you find out that your life becomes uncomfortable.
But like I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah.
And I'm saying bringing it up to today.
Mm-hmm.
And looked like to me, the only person that was reacting to, he didn't use the word color.
Right.
He used the same, like you said, it was a financial piece, and he just picked anything that this. It wasn't about color now.
Right.
But if there was a color in it, but it talked about the money, he did it.
Right.
But that was it. But then he go to the next one. So a lot of, like you said, a lot of folks don't understand that. But like you said, by going back in history, where it all started,
Right.
all of a sudden, we got a person sitting in that seat that's got all all the issues.
Right.
But he uses the reference. He doesn't use the reference color. He used finance.
That's right.
Anything that breaks down and define, he will pay. And I'm throwing something out to you because I want you to have that discussion with you. And what he does is that he's so sharp on the, let's say, the opposition. And like you say, all due respect, anybody Republican or Democrat.
Right.
And so what he'll sit back and wait. The issue comes to the table, and he'll just sit there and listen, and then rather than reacting to solutions, they're reacting to him personally.
Right.
And all they had to do was just take that same concept of finance and come up with a solution, put it on the table, and then you're the winner.
Right.
What happened?
What happened is he all of a sudden became king, and he said no. That's all. The only word he had to use was no. And everyone that was under that label, that label that he carries, said no. And that's why we're in the situation we are with TSA. That's why we're in the situation.
But now you said TSA, and that's a big one.
Yeah.
Okay, now they been back and forth. That's right. First, it was the idea to close the government deal. TSA, they kept that piece out, and they just kept it out. Don't pay them,
right?
So to speak. That was closed. Okay, and then they kept going back and forth with the politics, back and forth, finance now, back and forth, back and forth. Why is it that there was an opportune time for the Democrats to say, "Look, why don't we take the deal this time around?" Go to Congress real quick, pass them, look at our rules and regs, and give them the money. I mean, come up with a deal and give them the check. But he waits till that last minute, and then all of a sudden one day he said, "Oh, wait a minute!
Well, they don't have the power.
I can do that." No. Well, now check this out.
They don't have the power.
But in the paperwork that he has, in the definition of the president where he sits, he can write an executive order.
Right.
And that's what he did.
Yeah.
But my point is, it doesn't say to the other side. That's what I'm saying. We got to other side. Okay, if you don't have that in your definition, well, create some definition so that you can.
Here's the truth.
What happened
I can give you the truth of the matter.
Okay, what happened?
They fought this issue back and forth. The Senate came together and wrote a bill and left out ICE.
I saw that.
Okay? They sent it to the House.
Right. That's the way it goes, the process.
Right. And the Democrats in the House voted for it.
Okay.
But they were outnumbered by the Republicans.
That's right.
And they voted against it.
That's right.
So it's a stalemate right there.
Right. That's right.
And so what does since it's a stalemate, and I don't want to look bad, what will I do? If I'm the president, what will I say?
No, he ain't looking bad because he can do anything he wants.
No, listen to me.
This is what you're saying. He ain't gonna look bad.
He says, he told his house, the people in the house on his side, don't vote for it.
Yeah.
And then he comes out and says, I support the bill.
Yeah.
You know, so this is what you get. You
No,
get,
wait a minute now. You said support the bill. No. He signed an executive order.
No, listen to me. Wait a minute. This is before that. Just last week, he signed an executive order to pay the people.
They got paid.
Hold it. No, they didn't. Hold up.
They got paid.
Hold up. They have been off. They have not been paid for the last 3 months.
I'm not.
Listen to me.
I understand.
He didn't pay them all their back pay. He's just paying them today.
But he paid them.
They get, but they're
something is better than nothing, Bob.
No, it's not.
What do you mean?
If you're 3 months behind on your bills, your house note, and you get 1 week, you get one week or 2 weeks pay, you don't have enough to pay that house note because it takes all 4 weeks to pay it. You're still in the hole.
Yeah, but
you just got some money to maybe buy some food.
But guess what?
But you still suffering.
But the money, the people who you owe the money to will negotiate with you because
no, they won't.
Yes,
why
they will.
Why?
Hey, I've never known of a person who's carrying the note that will say no to a piece of dollar coming to the table.
No, because once you commit, understand housing. Once you commit and take something, you give the person more time. And now you're already 3 months behind, and you take a piece.
Yeah, they give you more time. They give you more time. See, getting right back to the point you had made initially. Finance was the issue.
Right.
Back in the old days, it was the color of the skin.
Right.
Okay, got me? And that's been going on and on for a long time.
Well, black people wasn't brought here to make decisions.
Well, but I understand that. I know I'm saying that. But cotton became king. You know what I'm saying? That was the money.
Right.
Okay. Now, but today it's the finance piece aspect of it. All I'm saying is that the person who's sitting in that seat, 'cause that seat changes every 2 terms.
Right.
Every 2 terms.
Right.
Other than Roosevelt, he had about 5 terms, and they changed
that.
But within that deal, that's kind of one of the reasons why they did that to a certain degree.
Right.
So, but the bottom line, if you sit in the seat, you have the opportunity to write a law in there that'll give you at least some of that money, and that's what they did. But it was finance, and we're talking about this piece.
What he did is play politics.
No, ain't no politics.
Let me tell you, he played politics with the people because he didn't pay them in full. He gave them a stipend, a small amount of their money.
But why couldn't the Democrats give it?
Because they don't have the power.
They
understand that Congress works based on your power, and the power is in the Republican Party right now because they have the majority.
No, they have the presidency.
They have the majority.
No,
they have the majority in the Senate. They have the majority in the House. They have the majority in the judicial, and they have the majority in the executive.
Democrats in the Senate that voted with them.
With who?
With the Democrat, with the Republicans.
On what?
And the Republicans have done that.
Oh yeah, that's the way it used to be.
What's been doing it now?
That's right now. There's no give and take. See, negotiations don't say you get everything you want, or I get everything I want.
Well, I'm accepting.
Negotiations say we negotiate a deal that we can both live with.
I'm saying that it would have been, if the Democrats had been smarter.
How could they be smarter?
They could have gone back to the table.
And did what?
And argue about.
They do it. That's what they're doing.
Changing it around. No.
That's what they're doing.
No,
but so what?
No, they didn't get credit for paying the people that little pieces. You say they didn't get credit.
They can't. Understand something. Congress can't write an executive order.
I didn't say nothing about it.
But that's who's the only person who can write an executive
president
order?
Now.
Any president. Yeah. All presidents.
Who sits in that seat?
Right.
Okay.
So he wrote an executive order.
And he paid those folks. And he got a lot of the credit. He got credit. Now, why couldn't the Democrats have been laying that out to the public as a whole. Isn't that some way they can get back to the, let's say, to the Senate, or get back to the House, and say those Democrats come up and say, because they've been arguing back and forth. Look, what we're going to do now? We're going to change this blah 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 rule, and from now this point on, we're going to come up with something that we can get these people that money overnight.
How does that? So okay, they come up with that.
Right, that's a piece of money.
Okay, wait a minute. There's a certain thing that has to go on that you forgot. If they come up with it, they can't just go do it.
I agree with
They
you.
got to get the votes.
That's right.
And there was not, and so the Republicans wasn't going to let them get credit.
But you keep on, but back and forth.
One more time, they weren't going to let the Democrats get credit for anything.
No. They said, in fact, what I heard one time was that the Republicans came back and said, as you said, the negotiations said, well, I'll tell you what, I'll sign this if you agree to this.
Yeah, they wanted to pay ICE.
Okay, now what is the definition of ICE?
For me, it's the clowns running the street and making Americans unsafe, making America unsafe. But
aren't they law enforcement officers? They're not law enforcement officers.
not as for what
You know what I'm talking about?
law enforcement officers.
Law enforcement officers.
Each district that they're in have their own set of law enforcement officers.
These are
that
federal.
they have
These are
taken.
federal. These are federal law enforcement officers.
And where does it say that the federal can come into a state
On the papers. On the papers.
and take over?
On the papers. And the command and the commanding chief for those individuals are sitting in that seat called.
That's
the
right. He
president.
determined that.
No, for government is enforcement officer. Now check this out. Now, let's throw something out to the table here. now.
Okay.
Let's talk about the so-called illegals. This way. Okay, what is the process when all of a sudden when they got here? Basically, they had to go through a line, fill out the paperwork, and wait for a court date. Right? Again, basic.
To be brought. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, basic number. Okay, good. So they got the name and they got the phone number and address.
Right.
They got to have that. Okay?
Right.
So the government basically says, okay, fine. I'm just throwing something out.
Okay.
They say, fine. What we're gonna do now? Hey, no, we're gonna get them out.
Why?
No, that's what I'm saying. Let me just go through the process. We're gonna get them out. The commander in chief over here, and the president said, he got to go. Blah blah. So he says. He signed it. It's done. So then all of a sudden, he sends the law enforcement folks to pick him up. And then they said, well, first off, we're going to go to get all the bad guys first, and then we're going to go and get the others at the same time. And so when he said that, so the argument is, wait a minute. So what is the real solution? So guess what? When you think about it, you said, well, they need lawyers. They have the courts. So maybe we don't have.
But he
enough
took
judges.
that away because he deported them without any representation.
Well, no. But I'm just
No,
saying.
you can't have it one way here.
But why didn't the Democrats?
Because
Say-
they don't have the power.
Why don't they say that?
Say what?
They don't have the power.
Well,
So
it's been this way since the beginning of time in American politics that if you have the vote, you have the power.
What about those employees that are representing the public? Why couldn't they have gone to the? And this is just a thought. There were two entities that got their papers without going through the process.
Two entities.
That was under President Reagan and President Bush. Remember that? They got their papers. They got their papers. They didn't have to go through the process of
Oh, you're talking about when they
citizenship.
gave them a certain period of
That's right.
time
That's right.
in order to go in and get your
that's right.
paperwork. Right.
And everybody, and I can remember even during that time, the lobbying part of the deed was that, well, gee, they just doing that for the election.
Well, Clinton did that too.
Well, we'll say so, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's the way that happened.
Right.
Now, the folks who are sitting now out there checking these people out, where the first place they go? They got the address on the form that they signed.
Yeah.
Right. So they go to the house to pick up the person. The person is there, and then naturally, these people right next door, if you will, from Mexico aspect of it, they go knocking on the door, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Person is there, and the person who's there, maybe relative, whoever, say, well, we ain't gonna let you in because no, hey, He's in the house. We're going to have to check it out. We got the orders. We got the search warrant. Remember that? That's another piece that you go. We got the search warrant. It's not about you going.
But they didn't.
Well,
That's the
They did what? They didn't have the search
They
warrant.
didn't have a search
Oh,
warrant.
they did.
No, they did not.
Check it out.
They just came and knocked on your door and went in.
No.
They didn't have to have any
Remember I said,
paperwork.
they had
Just the idea
they had
that
a
you was
form. They had the form that the person signed when they got into this country. This is where they have to show a location.
But that's not a search warrant.
No. I said there was an address that they gave
Okay.
as to where they had to sign that.
So here we come 25 years later, and they going after this person.
Well,
And wait a minute, stop it.
I'm gonna give you a
At
solution.
25 years later, they going after this person,
That's right.
and they don't have no warrant, no nothing. They just coming, and if you're in your car and you're taking your child to school, they break your window and take you out. They don't have to show you anything.
this president-
There's no law enforcement. There's no police officer in the state of Oregon that can come into your house or my house and just take over, except for ICE.
no.
Oh, who else?
No, the state can.
No.
The police, if he gets that judge to sign a damn deal.
There's
You can get in.
there's paperwork. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They don't have that.
Who don't know that?
ICE.
They do have it.
They do not.
The president of the United States knows that. That's why he initiated
Bruce,
those officers.
we can argue this point till the cows come home,
Well,
but that's not right.
See, but what I'm
it's
saying
not
is-
it's not law
So
enforcement.
what is the solution?
The solution is that you follow the process.
What is the process?
The process is if you're here illegally, you're served. If you do not follow the process of that serving notice,
Right.
you can be eliminated from this country. But you have to have due process. That's what this country is built on. Due process.
You're missing me somewhere. So you're saying that they didn't go that initial. They didn't know that.
You just told me they had paperwork.
Yeah.
So they did do it.
Yeah, because the local
Now they
lobbying-
might not have followed through,
No,
but they did do
but
it.
the lobbying on the Democrat side, he said, let's ignore that individual over there, and let's just use it over here. And said, well, the bottom line is that we rather than spend the time about the process piece,
No,
they just hit the personality piece.
no, that's not true.
But you said at one point in time that those individuals.
Due process.
ICE is not.
ICE is not about due process. Let's just realize that ICE is not about due process. Otherwise, I can tell you that there are some American citizens that live here that have been killed by them, and that was not due process. Okay, it's on tape. It's on everything else. And that wasn't due process.
No, there was people that basically were trying to prevent someone.
One more time. The lady in Minnesota, I use that all the time. She was not trying to do anything. She was sitting there. They came up to her car. She drove off. They shot her. You know, that was not.
Why was she there?
She was there protesting, which is legal.
For who?
She was protesting against ISIS actions.
No. For the individuals.
No.
For the individuals.
No, she wasn't protesting for a individual.
So why was ICE there?
ICE was there because they had been directed by their superiors to be there. But she was there saying, hey, you're wrong, which is an American right as a citizen.
So
you can march on anything at any time. That don't give you the right to destroy anything.
So what is the solution to the problem?
The solution to the problem is to follow the law of the land. And the law of the land says if someone is here illegal, pick them up, take them so they can have due process and put them out.
But like you said, for 25 years or so, whatever, they haven't done anything.
Well, that's not true. There've been more people I should say a large number of people was left this country under our president.
President Biden?
No.
Well, where did the 20 million
Obama.
thing? Where did the 20 million?
Obama.
President Obama.
Check the records on Obama
Wait a minute. Now Biden was just elected. Now he just got out of that one, I think the number was 10 to 20 million dollars. 20 million.
What?
10 to 20 million. Folks that he let in.
He let in?
Yeah,
Okay.
illegally.
How can the president? Wait a minute. How can the president take somebody out legally and not bring somebody in legally? So if he brought them in, that's legal.
He didn't bring them in.
Oh,
He allowed them to come in.
okay, that's legal.
What?
That's called. You can't have
can't
it
use
both.
the word-
You can't have it
Well,
one way.
You can't use the word legal.
If he
because-
let them in and told them they could come in, that's legal.
No, they're not legally here. No, they got to go through a process to be legal.
That's not true.
They're not true?
And evidently, they're not going through a process to put them out.
Well, Bob, we just got through talking about what the process was.
Well, there's a process for coming into America. Okay, if you're from a foreign country, there's a
we
process.
talked about that, yeah.
Okay, and there's a process for those that come in through the back door or the window to be legally deported. Okay, there's a process, but there's no process for ICE to break your car window and snatch you out of the car because they think you are here illegally.
Well, it's not just ICE.
Who else
It's
is
the
it?
president. Who's it?
President haven't touched the soul.
What?
He hasn't touched the soul.
Okay.
That man wouldn't fight if somebody was snatching his mother. He would give him his mother. That's the way I feel about him.
But you see, but the thing about it is that the personality thing is so heavy.
Yeah.
Rather than dealing with the issue, we're looking for a solution.
These people
I'm
on the
not- no,
floor.
It's not him. It's not him. What is the solution?
The solution-
He's not going to be there for but a few more years, about 2-3 more years. Because that's the rules. Someone else going to be sitting in that seat. So what is it? We don't have a solution to it. We got
A solution to what?
We got,
What's the problem?
these folks are illegal.
But just he said he was. Wait a minute. If you go back and look at what he said, he said he was.
Don't- I'm not talking about
Wait a
he.
minute. Time out.
I'm not-
You can't use him in one side and not use him in the other.
No. I'm not
And that's
talking
what
about
you
he.
do.
No, it's the legal piece.
Okay. If they were here illegal
Yeah.
for the last 25 years, haven't done anything wrong, okay, one or two things. You can do what Biden did and what Clinton did, what the other two presidents did, and that is give them an opportunity because they've been here and they've been helping, they've been doing positive in the country. Mm-hmm. Or you can do what this president is doing.
Well, you better run for office.
I don't. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
Well, I tell you what. We, as you can see, that's why we got to deal with this issue.
Yes.
We need to focus on solutions.
That's
it might
right.
be back, but we need to talk about solutions because it's a problem. So what we're going to do, we're going to continue this process. In fact, I'm going to have John Sweeney's going to come, and you guys can chat about
Okay.
it. Okay. But we're going to do it this break. We're going to take a break because it's very important. Because we need to come up with a process that's going to work for this upcoming election for everything that we're going to be talking to. Very important. Well, it's been good. That's a good conversation.
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly what I'm expecting for those folks who are going to be running for Metro President.
Hey.
They got to come up with some solutions. Okay. About 20 seconds here left. But hey, it's a pleasure.
Hey, I love it.
All right. Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay, folks, we're going to take a break. And we will be right back, and there'll be a continuation with John Sweeney. John and Bob are going to continue with the process. Take care. Tune in. Tell your friends.